Hey guys, great to see you. Type in Hey Teacher Raf in YouTube, come to my channel, go to the About section, scroll down, see the 4 links, bottom right link, support small business. Once you hit that, donate anything above 10 bucks and I'll send you my newest Ultimate Adventure Guide because I want you to feel excited, exhilarated. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Teacher Raf. This is Twilight Zone episode 123. I just want to give a short disclaimer that this video is informational, educational, and or for entertainment purposes. And I want to briefly touch on some really quick history about the 1800s, the 1900s, space program, and this whole idea of aliens. And bear with me. Realistically, let's speak about this topic and what it actually means. Let's not get into this whole sci-fi fantasy nonsense, okay? So let's really think about this logically. So in the 1800s, there was a huge industrial revolution, meaning America was being developed at a monstrous pace. You had railroads being laid down. You had huge buildings and skyscrapers being built. And all of this was happening at such a record pace, just completely unfathomable in the 1700s. And then all of a sudden in the 1800s, we're living in a new era. Think about that for just a moment. Now, ask yourself, how did this industrial revolution take off and come to its natural conclusion so quickly? That was one of the questions that I, as a student way a long time ago, was always asked. And I never understood, why am I being asked that question? Well, today, that question came up in my memory, and I started thinking, well, let's see if we can connect the dots logically. Okay, now let's go to the 1900s really quick. What happened in the 1900s? We had huge world wars, we all know. And then we have a lot of controversy about these wars, about propaganda, politics, and yada yada, nation, money, power. Hold on. What happened in the 1900s? We as a society in the United States and as a world, we advanced technologically, okay? So we know that as one of the realistic things that happened. What happened? Computers developed, but very, very, most importantly, fiber optic cables were invented, or they were given to us by other humans that had invented them prior. Now, why am I saying all this stuff? Okay, so hold that thought. We're talking about industry, we're talking about computers, we're talking about fiber optic cables and wars. What does all of this have in common? Well, let's stop and imagine for a second World War II. Why did we go to war? Forget about all the stuff we've learned. Think about the realistic consequences of what happened. Like, all of these millions of people, yeah, I understand they were killed, but let's not go there yet. What happened? They were enslaved to build tunnels underground. Look it up. And what were being built in those tunnels were technologically advanced aircraft, stealth bombers, anti-gravity aircraft, all kinds of military weaponry. Now, the only reason that was built at a breakneck speed was because there were upwards of 1 million slaves working in those tunnels, making it happen. Think about that just for a minute. Okay, now you can look into the history of all of this stuff. I'm not making any of this stuff up. Look into it, okay? But the point is that's one of the dots on our Connect the Dots story here. Okay, so what happened in the 50s after the war? In the early 50s, President Eisenhower allegedly had a meeting with so-called aliens. Okay, let's not get crazy and go into this nonsense about aliens. Let's just talk about contracts and agreements. Eisenhower signed some kind of contract where the United States was given technology, but before that, both the CIA and NASA were created out of World War II. So you have to stop and address that and ask yourself the questions, why were those two entities created and for what purpose? Because NASA supposedly makes rocket ships and telecommunications that go up to the moon and satellites. The CIA supposedly is foreign surveillance, but also guarding some very technologically advanced military secrets. So they're holding on to the technology while NASA is trying to build up a base of communication for the public. Okay, so we're getting somewhere here. So Eisenhower signs this agreement, not fully understanding what he signed because he has signer's remorse, because he warns the next president, JFK, of the military-industrial complex and some, keeping an eye on it, not allowing it to just go off the chain, so to speak, and have free reign, which it has anyway because of this contract supposedly or allegedly he signed. So where am I going with this? So this contract, from what I'm understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you can look this up yourselves, he signed that the U.S. will get fiber optic cables and all this technology in exchange for human lives. Okay? Now, we're hearing about human lives right now. We're hearing about millions of human lives every couple years, few years, every year, I don't know. But many, many lives are being taken for whatever reason, I don't know. But my speculation is that these lives are being taken in order to do the same thing that happened during World War II, and that was to dig huge tunnels and build secret military technologically advanced projects. But instead of building these projects on Earth, now we have these two entities that came out of the war in the United States, and not just the United States. Let's not just limit it to one country. The world has computation, fiber optic cables, rockets, and all this stuff. So the other countries must have logically also made an agreement like Eisenhower did sometime in their history. The advanced ones, obviously. So where am I going with this? All of these lives, where are they? Well, I think that these anti-gravity ships, I know you might not believe this, but think about this for a minute, that were created during the war and have been kept secret, are flying to the moon with all of these lives in order to build these tunnels on the other dark side of the moon. Remember, the moon doesn't rotate, so we only see one side of the moon all the time, which is really strange in itself. If you really look into it, it makes no logical sense. Scientists can't figure it out, but okay. Some say that it's normal phenomenon for our solar system. Okay, great. Point is I think that they're going over there with these crafts, okay, and they're shuttling people up there so they can work on these tunnels. And they're not being paid like a worker would be being paid. You see what I'm getting at? So now I'm thinking the next step in this logical dot sequence, connect the dots, is Elon Musk and the whole SpaceX Mars program. So now we're on the moon. We have bases out there and we have our aircraft there, so we can start with the dark side of the moon instead of starting on Earth, so we can move stuff from the moon to Mars. Apparently, allegedly, I don't know. That's just logically where I'm going with this, because I'm thinking, so now all of a sudden Elon Musk is publicizing that we're going to go to Mars. We're going to build spacecraft that will take us there, and we're going to have a base and underground tunnels. And then other people are saying, well, that's already happening. Maybe it is. I don't know. But then you have all of this current events or rumors, hearsay, about all of these lives being taken or disappearing, and what's come of these people. And I have a hard time believing that it's all just for one, bad outcome. It has to have some type of productive or efficient goal, even though it's, very immoral and unethical and nasty, ugly. It can't just be like the demise of these people for no reason, because these high intellectuals that are devising all this, it has to go and fit into their plan some way. So I'm not seeing how that can't be the case. What I'm trying to say is, I'm wondering if these rumors are true, that supposedly this agreement was broken just recently, and now humanity has to go and build these bases on Mars the old-fashioned way by paying workers, and building them housing and giving them breaks, and what else happens in a normal work environment rather than enslavement. Because I'm trying to figure out, all of this alien talk in the 50s and technology and fiber optics, it didn't just come from the sky one day. It's been in the works for a long time. It's just been under wraps. But when I connect the dots, it just seems very logical that that's what's being done. All of these people that have disappeared, they're building something underground. And I think it's, on the moon, and now it's going to be on Mars, or maybe it is already on Mars. I know it's really outlandish, but when you look at this, the last 200 years in history, and you just sort of connect the dots in a very broad fashion, it starts making some logical sense in a really strange way. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the link. Take care, be safe. It's now white boy.